most important decisions of any leader is who they will put into positions of leadership around them. What qualities will you be looking for in city department heads, and have you made any decisions about who those might be?
People have a lot of rumor going around about this topic, and I'd like to say tonight publicly that it is irresponsible for a leader to pre-decide who they think should be in a position and who they shouldn't be. It is my duty to you as the voters and as duty to City Council to learn about the jobs and the people that are in the key parts of leadership within the city, to listen to them, to find out what their goals are, what their challenges have been, to coach them to success before I make any decisions about removing. So if there are those who have questions about that individually, please come and talk to me, because I'd like you to ask me that question directly. I think it's important that we understand that our department heads, especially that have been with the city a long time, are valuable employees with irreplaceable experience. And I believe they need a leader that supports them, that makes them feel comfortable and not intimidated, and let them do the great job that I know that they can do and have the skills and possess. So, thank you.
One of the most important decisions of any leader is who they put into positions of leadership around them. What qualities will you be looking for in city department heads, and have you made any decisions as to who those might be?
Well, depending on how the outcome of this race, would probably be one open position, I would think. but let me go on first. I can tell you, people in city government are some of the most hardest working people I've ever met. And the department heads in the city of Mount Vernon is the most comprehensive team that I've ever worked for in my 27 years. I have a lot of colleagues in other cities that do not get along with the police chief, the fire chief, the public works director, and especially at budget times where everybody's fighting over the dollar. I will tell you, the team that's put together right now, we don't fight over the dollar. We figure out how to get it done and how to come out with smaller budgets so everybody wins. There are two rumors also that have been floating out there that I'd like to put rest to right now, is that I would hire a former mayor as my Parks and Recreation director. I just heard it again tonight, folks. And that's not going to happen. The process that I'm going to go through is a 3-panel process when I pick my the person who follows me if I'm lucky enough to get into the position. There's a community panel, there's a department head panel, there's a staff panel, and they will be vetted through to take the next Parks and Recreation position if that is the case. I will look at all of the current department heads and second line positions to see if there needs to be any adjustments, if we need to work on anything, and set a new set of goals and expectations as we move forward under new leadership. But I think we're in pretty good shape right now, but we'll make those changes as we need to.
Some service providers that the city uses now for marketing, architectural, engineering, and landscaping are from outside of Skagit County. In the interest of keeping the local community economically viable, how would you approach selecting service providers for the city?
Well, that's a difficult question because the city is bound by bid laws. We have started a small works roster about a couple of years ago where local providers and outside providers can get on. And we can go through that list and look at some of the local providers for some of our professional services and some of the work that's done under, I think, $200,000. There are laws that the city of Mount Vernon has to follow, and the contractors have to pay prevailing wages and so on and so forth. But one of the things that I've thought about, and to be honest with you, I haven't researched it much, but as you interview these folks, you give me extra points for being local or Skagit County or within the city of Mount Vernon, might be an option. I'm not ready to say that that's the right way to go just yet. But we're bound by laws, and the reason we're bound by laws is because somebody 25 years ago screwed up and hired their brother, to do all the work. So now we're bound by certain laws, and it's very restrictive on all of our contracts and everything we do. I have to say, though, the last couple of projects that we have done with Kiwanis Park have been local contractors, and it is some of the best work that we've had because we meet with them, we talk to them, we say, folks, this is in your neighborhood, this is in your home, do a good job, and we haven't had any problems. So I'd like to go with local contractors, but sometimes you just can't on bigger projects because of our bid laws and our restrictions that the cities have to follow.
The Municipal Research and Services Center is a wonderful resource for municipal government. It does give some guidance about purchasing local. They do provide part of the bid process where the city can take an option to consider the tax revenue that comes back to the city from the bids that come in, from the vendors that come in. It is limited though, so it's limited to things like supplies or materials or equipment from a local source. Now, that's something that I would look very strongly into and talk with City Council about, is to enact that option to consider tax revenue for the local sources. Unfortunately, RCWs prevent any preference to local hiring based on public works contracts. But I think whatever we can do to help promote our local businesses, we need to be doing. I was a little worried to hear, and I haven't confirmed it, that some of the projects that have gone out have not been put out for bid or RFP and given the chance to our local companies. So I'd like to take a look at that and make sure that we're giving every opportunity to for our local economy to benefit. Just like I mentioned the 350 project before, that's not just a buy local, go retail. That's services, that's your plumber, your electrician, buying toilet paper for City Hall or the Parks Department locally might be something that we can look into so that that revenue stays within our economy.
A citizens group worked for months on the Envision Skagit 2060 project, which calls for the community to consider and plan for future growth over 50 years. Recommendations included merging Mount Vernon and Burlington into one city. What is your opinion of that recommendation?
I don't think that's a win-win answer for whatever I say to that. I don't think that would happen, but I want to point out that that project had some amazing ideas for collaboration. We need to look at that. Our city is not its own little kingdom. And we need to reach out and make sure that we're looking regionally, because if we grow our county, then we grow as well, and it benefits all of us. A couple ideas that I've heard from especially the fire department is that a regional fire command, they themselves say they would be interested in looking at that, looking at services and doing things a better way. So I think there were some wonderful ideas for collaboration, whether it's the county is absorbing a lot of the commercial growth and tax base, but the cities are housing the residents. So how can we come up with a revenue sharing, which to me was only fair. So it goes back to how we can collaborate, but basically how we can relate to each other and work together to make it just a better place in Skagit County.
What do you think of Mount Vernon and Burlington?
Well, I think some of the concepts that came out of those, unfortunately, the lead story came out, the Mount Burlington story, which will never happen, folks. And there's a couple of great concepts that came out in the Envision Skagit. I think some of it is looking a little too far out. I mean, I can hardly manage a 6-year comprehensive plan other than looking at 50 years. But I think the thing, in a perfect world, if we took Burlington with all their tax revenue, or what they had anyway, and Mount Vernon with all the residential in a place a long time ago, it would have really made sense. But each of us now have a sense of community, and that's not going away. That will never happen. But some of the things that we can look at is the sharing of services. when the former Parks Director for Skagit County was there, Bob Vokes and I looked strongly at what is called a Parks District, Metropolitan Parks District, that took city and county areas and created a new Parks District that would really look out for parks, and it would be shared responsibilities because we have the play fields within inside the city limits, we have part of Skagit Valley College and the tennis centers and all of those types of things that we should really look at sharing and scheduling together. The fire departments, a regional fire department I think makes sense, but I think we look at those departments where it makes sense. And to be honest with you, I don't think Mount Vernon and Burlington will merge until Mount Vernon and Burlington school districts merge. And I don't think that's going to happen in a long time. But it was an interesting concept, and I got to give these guys credit. They've done a lot of work on it. But I don't think that's going to happen. We need to look at where we can partner, where it makes a sense of difference, and where we can save some money. So that's it.
Maybe the last question we have time for before closing. In the interest of transparency and giving the people a voice, what will you do as mayor to affirm a commitment to open government?
Well, I think our open government laws are pretty transparent. I mean, we have certain laws that govern the city council meetings, where the city council can't be in 4 of them in a place at a time, and so on and so forth. And I would really instill within our city government that the transparency and the decisions that are made are out there and are important. It's really important. I've done a number of comprehensive parks plans and been part of the other comprehensive parks plans. And in those meetings, gathering public input and putting that into, what will be the base of a plan. It's really community driven. And I think that's a really important aspect. And we've taken that, I've done about 6 or 7 of them, I think, but taken the concepts of the public and developed Kiwanis Park. We didn't have any pre-ideas of what Kiwanis Park would look like, but we took the ideas, and that was a very transparent process, along with some of our other parks projects. But I would implore our city departments and our city council to be upfront with information and information sharing, and provide more information out there that we can, along with all of our media outlets as well. We have to be careful because some of the information that we talk about on property purchases and personnel issues, those are meant to be in executive session, and lawsuits, and those are the things we need to protect. But most everything, I think, can be vetted through a city council meeting for the most part.
In the interest of transparency and giving the people a voice, what will you do as mayor to affirm a commitment to open government?
There's a few things that I would love to do. I would love to have every week at City Council have a public comment time instead of just 2 times a month. I think that's important. I think City Council would really appreciate that as well. One thing about open government is the access to information. And our website needs a lot of work, I think, and a lot of help. Something that's user-friendly to help people find out the information that is interesting to them. Things like the budget that's already on there, but what about different statistics? How do they get a dog license? This types of things makes you feel that you have access to your government, but ultimately trusting the government and being confident with what we're doing. So I think we could use social media right now, not only to promote a sense of community within the government, but also to help our economic development and our tourism and that type of thing. One thing that I would like to do to have people feel that they are part of the government is enact a weekly coffee for 1 hour, something similar to what I'm doing right now with the campaign, a Meet Me At event. What I'm trying to do is ask local businesses to let me bring an air pot of coffee and just be there to have someone come and talk directly to the mayor and express their concerns. I don't want it to turn into just a venting session because I want your ideas and what you think that we could do in government better. I think that kind of access would not only make people feel that they are part of the government, but it would highlight our local businesses and get to know each other in that realm.
Now it's time for closing statements.
Thank you. Once again, I'd like to just thank everybody for coming out tonight. Seeing so many people out here involved in the community is actually really inspiring and inspiring to me. There's been a lot said, and I've been very impressed with the interest and the presence of the audience. There's a couple of things I want to leave you with. Mount Vernon is absolutely a great place to live. We've got a great police force, a fire force, city departments that care, parks that are the size of our city is just overwhelming, the number of trails and the amenities that we have. So we need to realize that Mount Vernon is a great place now, and the next mayor's job is to make it better. But a couple other things I'd like you to leave with as well. And what I look at is in a mayor's role, over and above all the things that we've talked about tonight, is a mayor has to be a leader in the community, an inspiration for good government, a collaborative thinker, a good communicator with transparency in decision-making, a team builder and a coach, involved in the community, and the one that has to make some really tough decisions. Being the Director of Parks and Recreation has given me the ability to use these traits. I've always strived to be the best in my profession, and I will strive to be the best mayor that I can be. I have experience working in Olympia with our elected officials, both as the Director of Parks and Recreation and as the Legislative Director for the Washington Recreation Parks Association. So I've had a lot of experience with passing bills and working with the nuances of Olympia, if you will. On January 21st, 2012, the keys to a $45 million company and almost 200 employees with 7 elected council members will be handed over to one of us to manage over the next 4 or more years. As you cast your ballot, use it as a job interview, and then vote for the proven, vetted leadership that will help Mount Vernon forward. And I would appreciate your vote on November 8th, and thank you for coming out tonight and taking your time to listen to the future of Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon matters. I am privileged to stand before you this evening, and I look forward to working with the City Council and our devoted city employees as a strong team. My co-workers, fellow board members, and friends are here tonight. You can talk with them, you could visit my website, but most importantly, talk to me. There is no need to make assumptions or to listen to rumor. I am right here, and who better to ask questions of than the person on the ballot? My vow as a leader is to work hard, be honest and consistent. I will work with you, I will listen to you. I am not politically driven, but I'm committed to provide an example of collaborative government to our county, state, and country. As mayor, I will accept no compromise to our best effort with council and employees to provide a safe and enjoyable city to live in. I have a question for you. Where are we going? My vision for Mount Vernon is a small city that is proud of their economic stability achieved by commitment to their independent business, honored to provide a wide range of art and cultural activities, enjoys a low crime rate with successful prosecution of crime and appropriate programs to prevent reoffenses, provides healthy and creative recreational activities that draw residents young and old, and tourists alike, boasts a heavily utilized library and values lifelong learning, and of course uses tax dollars responsibly. In recent years, Mount Vernon's administration has drawn national attention for the wrong reasons. This cannot be our legacy. We cannot let things happen to us anymore. My leadership and vision will set an example of inclusion and commitment to our community. This vision and firm belief in all of you is what will make Mount Vernon the best small city in America. It is time to express the kind of community that we are. I ask for your vote for a clear break from politics as usual. Thank you.